Hey, this is the Smith twins, Dooner and Dooner Jr.
No, Dumb
No,
and Dumber.
yeah, Dumber and Dumber. No, just kidding. We're back, and Dad's got a cute little story that I've always liked, and I thought you would enjoy it, so I asked him to share it with you today.
Well, this is the about the first time I went to California with him. I didn't find it a cute little story. I'm gonna tell it anyhow. We had started out on the train, and Elvis got tired of the train, so we got off in Phoenix, Arizona, and we took a plane from Phoenix to Los Angeles. When we got there, he decided he wanted to go look at some vehicles and all. He had had a BMW, little sports car in Germany, and he had heard that Wilshire Motors at the time had one. So we decided we'd go to Wilshire Motors. Well, Elvis was always very properly dressed. I wasn't. This was my first time, and I never expected, to be in the big city of Los Angeles. So I had on a pair of tennis shoes, blue jeans, and a t-shirt.
Which would have been great now.
And so we went to Wilshire Motors, and I was just in, complete awe of everything I was seeing. And we went into Wilshire Motors, and Elvis was looking at some of the cars, and he went to talking to one of the salesmen there, and they had a convertible BMW, and that's the one Elvis was talking about. Well, I was leaning on the car like this, looking down at it, and of course the car was spotless. And if I knew then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have leaned on the car like that. But the guy,
How old were you, Billy?
I was exactly I don't know.
Hard question. Teenager.
No, I was almost 18, and liking a couple months. That was in February of 61. I'm sorry, February 61. And anyway, go back to the story. I was leaning on the car, and the other salesman come over to me, and he kind of nudged me, and because I looked back at him, and I was still leaning, looking. This thing was beautiful, boy. So I just was actually not paying him a whole lot of attention. I was looking at the car, and he nudged me again. He said, "Look," he said, "we don't mind people coming in and all that." He said, "But if do me a favor and don't lean on the cars." And that's kind of how he said it, with a very harsh tone. Well, I didn't, I didn't think nothing, I just leaned back off the car. But Elvis overheard him. And that's when as they say, the crap hit the fan. He turned from that other salesman to this guy, and he said, "Look," he said, "I'm going to tell you something." He said, "Just like they always say about a book, don't judge it by its cover." He said, "Don't judge him because he's got on blue jeans and a t-shirt. You may think that, he's no better than just the average person out on the street, but he is. He's just as good as anybody. And you don't know, he may have come in here to buy this thing and had the money to buy it. Just because he has on blue jeans don't make him poor." And he said, "In fact, it really hacks me to hell off that you actually said something like that to him." And then he turned away from the guy, and he turned to the other salesman. He said, "Look," he said, "where's your manager?" So the guy said, "Well," he said, "well, get him." Manager come out there, and he said, "Look," he said, "I'm very disappointed in this man," and he explained to him why, because of me. He said, "But the car," he said, "I want the car." He said, "I'll take it." He said, "But only if you have this man right here to bring it to my house." He said, "That's the only way I'll buy it." Salesman said, well, if he's, offended you like that, he said, he will deliver it or we'll get rid of him. Elvis said, oh no, I don't want him to lose his job. He said, I just want him to deliver this car, let him know how it feels when he delivers one to Bel Air, California, where the rich people live. And so, I guess Salesman said, okay. So, that was pretty much the story. The guy delivered the car. Didn't say much. Elvis, he wanted to say, I'm sorry, but he never got around to it, and Elvis was not in the mood really to accept an apology. So the guy dropped the car off. He went back his way, and I was about to pass out because I didn't know what to say. I mean, I just, I didn't. Certainly, my first trip out,
Hell,
California with Elvis Presley.
Hell, you just wanted to look at the car, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure didn't want to create no waves, man. But it looked like I created the big
But
one.
he was always protective like
But
that.
he was, and but that's the way that story went. But it was somewhat very amusing. But for me, it was it was like, golly,
I caused this trouble.
I caused all this trouble here. My first time, he won't never take me back again. So, but that's the way it went, man.
and I heard it a couple times. I always just I liked it, and it just I thought you would, because you that's the type of person
that Elvis
was. And with that being said, I've got some.
Well, one more thing before you do that.
Okay.
Elvis, it goes to show you, Elvis never forgot where he came from.
That's right.
And that's what really made him upset. Is the fact, Elvis came from a poor family, and when he was able to buy these things, he didn't look on the little man the same as some of these rich people do. And I hate to say, I don't mean that about every rich person, because there's more of them that are great people than not. But anyway, that he never forgot that, and that's what set him off. Is the fact that
nobody was better than anybody else.
Nobody was better than
regardless
anybody
of
else
what
as
they
far
had.
as he was concerned.
He cared and loved family. That's for sure. And what I was going to say is, I've got some young Elvis friends, and I wanted to give a shout out to them. So this is for you, Tyler, Lucy, Cleo, Ben, Angel, and Kate. Glad you're enjoying our videos. Hope you keep watching. And until then, we always live Elvis.